Hello, I'm Janet.
And I'm Vision. Brian.
We are distinctive. We are a household of 2 people plus a couple cats. So we are dual income, no kids, and also Disney fans. In other words, we are Disney dinks. And so we thought we would make some videos about what it's like to be both of those things. In other words, touring Walt Disney World as a married couple without children.
Yes.
Without the mini-me's.
Yes.
So on today's show, as always, we like to give you a magic word. The magic word
is time.
And this is your cue to enjoy a frosty adult beverage of your choice each time that word is spoken. So today's word is time. And also we like to start with a game, and in honor of your ridiculous Vision Magic Band headband thing going on here, I have chosen a new game.
All right.
The name of this game is Infinity War.
Oh.
Infinity War, spoiler alert, half people die. So we are going to Disneyfy this,
A little aggressive.
And you must pick a park you must pick half the Disney parks to eliminate with the snap of Thanos' fingers.
All right, half the Disney World parks, both water parks.
No.
Well, that's not half. I need that 6.
No, 4 Disney parks.
4.
2 of the main Disney
parks.
parks.
With the water park?
The water parks do not count.
Fine.
Besides, there's only one open at any given time anyhow.
That's not true.
It's pretty true.
No, in the summer you're wrong. All right.
I feel like there's always one closed for renovation.
I'm gonna say, as it stands today, Hollywood Studios, I know that as it stands, they have Toy Story Land. I get Slinky Dog. I haven't ridden it yet, full disclosure. But as it stands today, without Star Wars Land, without Galaxy's Edge opened, I'm gonna go with that. And I just gotta go. I mean, I think Epcot needs more updating, so I would naturally want to go there. But it's just got the best, food and drink selection available. As an adult, I can't eliminate that, so I gotta go Animal Kingdom and take out Avatar. I know.
Flight of Passage.
I know. Pandora. I know.
Fading away into nothingness.
I know. Tiffin's. I know.
Soon.
I know. There's so many good things there. It hurts.
Too
but
soon.
Okay, yeah. What would you do then?
This was supposed to be your game. Oh, damn. Yeah, no, I'd have to do the same thing.
Yeah, okay. So complaining about the same thing. Okay.
Okay.
So let's move on to
a quick game.
Today's topic. It is, we have top 5 must-dos we definitely do. We do? Yeah, we do.
Things we do. Must-dos we do.
We do.
Yes.
We just did a previous video of must-dos we don't do. So now
Linkages.
we do.
Must-dos that we did not do. This video, must-dos we do.
She keeps pointing, but there's nothing there.
There will be.
Okay,
We're
sure.
going to do it eventually.
All right, so let's go on to number 1.
If not, just find our videos. You'll find it. There aren't that many. Okay, so number 1 of the must-dos we do is we do use Disney Transit. So if you read various blogs, etc., one of the pieces of advice that you'll get over and over and over again is use Disney public transit, the buses, the water launches, or taxis, the monorail, the upcoming Skyliner. Excited about the Skyliner. Which is a gondola system they're building right now. They're building it now. All of these things are great for getting around Disney property. They might even be better than driving around Disney property, depending on your time frame of your plan, because A, it's free, B, someone else is handling it, so you don't have to think about it, and C, if you are aware of what connects with what, you can use Disney Transit to get basically anywhere. You might have to transfer. Depending on where you're going, particularly Disney Springs, you're probably going to have to transfer if you're going to a park. But for the most part, you can get around Disney World pretty easily with the public transit. It may take up to an hour on some things if you're going very far, if you're doing any connections. But Disney World's a huge place. So an hour on public transit, I mean, that's not worse than it is in Atlanta or Miami or Minneapolis on public transit to get places. So I think it's fine. We do it a lot. We particularly like the boat launches right within park area.
Yeah, absolutely. Encourage you to take all forms of transit, especially the ones you haven't yet taken. A lot of people miss out on the water taxis because they think inherently they're slow. I mean, you can watch them as they taxi, and they don't go super fast. However, they do have a more direct route, and that's just because how Disney designed the layout. I mean, this is all man-made, almost all of them.
It's a swamp. They'd put the water somewhere.
They're all man-made lakes, so they're strategically placed for access for transportation. So although they might seem longer, they're not. For example, if you were to go from Swan and Dolphin to Epcot, not too far of a walk, it's practically the exact same time, even with the stops in between and the water taxi. So it's
to be seated in an air-conditioned vessel.
Yeah. So please experience all the forms of transit that they have to offer. One bit of advice: don't get on the water taxi or wait in line while it's raining. It's more than likely going to lightning, and they have a policy where if there's lightning detected within a 5 square mile radius, they shut down operations, and then you have to wait till 30 minutes passes for the last lightning bolt and to resume. So more than likely, if you need to get somewhere fast, you're gonna just walk it or bus it, one of the two, but just not going to be using the water taxi when it's raining. You're just taking a gamble.
Yeah.
So, and they will stop in the middle of a path if they have to in order to go to the next dock, and they won't go to the final destination if they detect lightning. They will stop. So
because safety first.
No.
Anything else about the Disney transit?
Remember, it's free even to those who aren't staying on Disney Resort. So a lot of times you might be at Disney Springs Resort area. You could theoretically, we've done this several times, we'll go to Disney Springs for maybe a breakfast or lunch, start our day late, and then hop on one of the resort buses to another Disney resort and then take the monorail, for instance, from Polynesian or something, and get to the park that way.
Keep in mind, Disney Springs bus, there's no buses that go directly to the park from there. So you'll have to transfer if you do it. But I mean, if you transfer to a monorail loop hotel, it's not that bad a transfer. So, and you get to clear security at the hotel rather than at the front gate. So.
And keep in mind, otherwise you have to pay for parking at the parks themselves if you're going to park there. So it's definitely a benefit to take Disney Transit. They just added, they just added the new feature inside of the My Disney Experience app to look at the times the next bus is going to arrive at your stop. If this is only good for you, apparently, it's silly. I know the first version. If you are booked on property at Disney Resort, and it's only going to tell you the times that the buses are coming for various parks that are coming to your Disney Resort. So if you're
it's going to help you get out the door in the morning and know when the bus that you want is arriving, so you're not standing out there for half an hour before you can get to the park for the beginning of the day. At the moment, that's all it is. Hopefully they'll expand it in the future. That'd be nice.
All right, number 2.
So related to using Disney Transit is, no, sorry, it's not related. I thought it was, but whatever. Number 2 is that we reserve our fast passes as early as reasonably possible. So the rules are, if you're staying at Disney property, it's 60 days prior to the first day of your vacation, and that's 30 days if you're not staying on property. And so we usually try and book them out as close to that as we can get. We don't always book our vacations that far in advance because we have annual passes and we're relatively local. We're in Georgia, so it's not that hard for us to get down there quickly. But we, even if we only planned our vacation out 2 weeks in advance, we'll book the fast passes first thing 2 weeks out. And if we have that 30-day or 60-day mark and we've planned it out that far, we get on there the first day that we're allowed to and book, at least for the ones that we know are going to be tricky to get that we really want. So this would be your Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, your Flight of Passage if you're lucky enough to get it. What else? Space Mountain can be tricky to get. Frozen's a tough one. Soarin' used to be one of ours, but Soarin', you can watch lots of other videos about the issues that currently exist with Soarin'. Anyway, so we try and get at least those major big ticket ones early, as early as we can. And then related to this also is get your fast passes early, but also book them for early in the day, right? So we don't always start our day right at rope drop, but if we plan on arriving at the park at 9, I will try and book our first our fast passes, which you're allowed 3 per day, as early as we can, because once you've finished off those 3, you get another one at a time. And since we often like to go to the parks later in the evenings, that can be great for us. So we can kind of have our midday to afternoon fast passes, and then we can kind of get one for after our dinner break. And that, usually you're not going to get one of those top tier, really hard to get fast passes that way. Sometimes you can get lucky and you will. But you know, you can get some of those mid-tier rides, like Space Mountain or Jungle Cruise, Test Tracks. Those things will often pop up partway through the day, and you can grab them on the same day, depending. So.
And if you really, to stretch it out, I really recommend doing it, because sometimes you just never know about the crowd, and it fluctuates within the same day sometimes. You know, the 4th one, like she said, you're gonna probably get a mid-tier, but you can get a 5th one. It's just gonna be bottom tier. It's gonna be for, like, if you're at Epcot, Journey into Imagination, or living with the Land. Now living
Nemo.
Nemo. Now living with the Land, for instance, there's been times where it's just crowd fluctuation. It's a 20-minute ride for some reason on Living with the Land. So getting your 5th fast pass, don't use it on your 4th. Try to get a mid-tier on your 4th, but getting the 5th fast pass, you might seem it's silly to get a fast pass for Living in the Land, but hey, you got 5 fast passes in a single day. So you're really optimizing your time there by doing that.
All right, so that's one that we do follow, the common advice of reserving your fast passes and put those first 3 as early as you can, so you get done with them, and you can move on to some others later on.
Next one we have on the list is we do is park hop.
That one is related.
That's related, yes, because you can't. You can only book fast passes for one park at a time for each day. So if you still have an outstanding fast pass, doesn't matter if it's your initial 3 or your 1-on-1. If you have an outstanding fast pass for Epcot, you can't book one for Magic Kingdom. So keep that in mind when park hopping, but definitely do park hop. It will save you, I'll tell you, save you some time in visiting these parks, because some of them, like Hollywood Studios, is really just a half-day park as it is today.
Yes.
So park hop.
No, we haven't been to Toy Story yet.
Well, I haven't
going to
been
save it that much.
Yeah, it adds 2 rides. So.
So park hopping is great. I think I mentioned that we like to take break kind of late afternoon or dinner time-ish, and a lot of the time we'll go kind of mid-morning. We'll do one park until we feel like we're done with it, or until we're tired, and oftentimes that'll be kind of right up against the dinner hour, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and we can go to a resort hotel where oftentimes you can get a dining reservation pretty close to, or a lot of time you can just walk in and they'll have a table, and we'll go and we'll eat outside the park, but still on Disney property, and then we'll transition to another park for the evening, particularly to see fireworks show. So Happily Ever After, Illuminations are our favorites at the moment, and so it can be great to, okay, we're done with this park, we're going to go to Epcot now, we're going to have dinner, we're going to watch Illuminations, and you can only do that if you have that park hopper. Even if you have extra days on your ticket, you can't use like 2 days at 2 different parks. It's not allowed. So you have to have the park hopper if you plan to go to a park, more than one park in a single day. We have annual pass. Annual pass has the park hopper option rolled into them, but you can add it to any individual ticket, and I do think that the value is worth it, particularly for people with no kids. So the main argument against park hopping is the transition time it takes you to go from one park to another, and if you don't have kids, your life gets a lot easier in that transition. You're really just talking about the actual physical transit time.
So tips for park hopping: do between Hollywood Studios and Epcot. Use the boat. It's going to be your fastest, easiest way. between Epcot and Magic Kingdom, absolutely use the monorail. You will have to change lines at the Ticket and Transportation Center. Please don't fall for, I don't know, eventually do it, but if you're on a time constraint, don't do it. They have the shuttle boats, the giant boats that go across Seven Seas Lagoon. The ferry. Yeah, the ferry, that's what they call it. They take longer than waiting on the monorail.
The ferry is nice. It's good to do, but don't do it if you're in a time crunch.
Don't do it in a time crunch. Just take the monorail. And just be realistic with yourselves. Once you're at Animal Kingdom, you're pretty much there. So don't really, it's just so far out from all the other parks. Even from some of the resorts is really far. So pretty much you're committed when you do Animal Kingdom to stay there for the remainder of the day. And I feel like it's grown to be a park where you can stretch out an entire day with anyways. So.
And anytime you're trying to transition between parks, if you find that the transit system's just not going to allow you the time frame that you want, keep in mind, they got the mini buses and you can get the Ubers and whatever. And that can be an effective way of getting around, depending on where you're trying to get to and from, obviously at an increased cost for the increased convenience.
All right.
That's the way the world works.
Number 4.
Number 4 is to be prepared for the heat. So we are, as I mentioned, living in Georgia, East Florida, born and bred. So
South
we're
Florida.
pretty accustomed to the southern heat, but that is not the case for everybody. And even us being accustomed to the heat, we know to come prepared for the heat. So by prepared, I mean have your water bottle, wear your clothes that are heat appropriate. Girls, ladies, be aware that you're going to have to adjust your concept of cuteness somewhat to accommodate the fact that you're going to want to wear comfortable shoes. You're going to need that sweat-proof makeup if you want to wear makeup to the park. You're going to want to get your hair up out of, not just wear it loose unless you like sweat dripping on you. You're going to want to wear, cotton, breathable fabrics, these sorts of things. So you don't have to look like you're going to the gym, but, just keep this in mind when you're thinking about what you're wearing to the park, what you're bringing with you to the park. Have your sunblock, have your water, we have those towel rag thing. What are those called?
Those are frog togs.
The frog togs, right? So they keep the water in them.
Yeah.
And those can be great as cooling cloths. And yeah, so be prepared. Bring some stuff with you, like those cooling cloths, like the water bottle, and also be prepared to, be taking stock of how you feel throughout the day. If you're feeling headachy, this is a sign of dehydration. You're going to want to, get some water and take 5 minutes and sit in the shade someplace. Better that than collapsing of heat exhaustion and needing the medical folk to help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a ginger, some tips. There's just not that much shade while walking. I mean, there's shady places to sit and to stand and whatever. But when you're pretty much walking most of the day to get to and from places, there's just not shady routes. So I actually like having an umbrella. I don't always carry, thankfully. My wife is so kind sometimes to carry an umbrella, even in a sunny day. I know that you might feel like foolish, but trust me, as a ginger, you'll appreciate that. Second thing, absolutely. As a guy, I'm always, very comfortable wearing undershirts. Don't wear undershirts. Just don't. It's okay as long as you're okay. You should be okay with the fact that you're gonna have, sweaty clothes, right? Meaning this sweaty areas, and it's just everyone has it. It's okay. Putting an extra undershirt is just gonna make it hotter and stickier, and there's no real reason. Definitely do wear what I call golf shirts or quick dry shirts. Those really do help, and not being completely soaked. So absolutely do that, and drink, both alcohol and water.
And again, to close, sometimes skirts can actually be really nice, particularly if you're out at one of the less strenuous parks like Magic Kingdom, where there's not really any rides where you have to worry about that. Just, keep in mind that you're going to be seated a lot in public areas, so you probably want a little length to your skirt. But like a knee-length skirt can be very cool attire to wear in the park. It seems a little counterintuitive, but skirt, sneakers, shoes, or skirt, sneakers, t-shirt can be a good combo if you're not a shorts person. I'm not big on shorts, but I don't really like wearing long pants either in that heat. So that's a good compromise for me.
Number 5, last one.
Number 5, last one is stay for the fireworks shows.
Must do. We do.
We do that.
We do that. We do da cha-cha.
Yeah. So I think you're the one that primarily put this one on the list.
Absolutely. Fireworks. The fireworks shows are amazing, first and foremost, because they have special designers who create the shows, and they're all in sync with not just the music, but the visuals that go along with them. Usually they're 3D projections. So in terms of show value and fireworks, you're not going to get a better fireworks show anywhere, period. It's the best fireworks show on planet Earth. And the nice thing is that they're inspiring, in my opinion. They really kind of give a message that's uplifting and positive, and they kind of hit you at home for some of your favorite childhood movies. So absolutely stay for the fireworks. Tier. All right. So what are some of your favorite fireworks shows?
So my favorites are Happily Ever After. I do like Happily Ever After. R.I.P. Wishes. Wishes was nice.
Wishes.
And also I like Illuminations. It's getting a little tired for me now because we go so often and it's been playing in Epcot for so long. Yeah. But it's a quality show, so if you've never been, or if you've only been once or twice, or if you've never seen Illuminations, even if you've been to Walt Disney World before, it's aging well. I mean, it's still a great show, and it's definitely worth checking out. That's one where you do want to try and get a good spot a little early.
Oh, yeah.
With Magic Kingdom fireworks, you can walk up 5-10 minutes early and find a place. If you're not too picky, but
if you want a perfect viewing angle, you never.
Yeah, if you're trying to get a picture, the classic postcard picture, you might want to be a little picky at Magic Kingdom. But if you just want to watch a show, you can do it pretty close to the time. Illuminations, if that's the first time seeing the show, particularly, find a good spot. It's definitely worth it. And I like the Star Wars show. I'm a big Star Wars nerd, and that Star Wars show is pretty epic. Yep. You feel the pyro on that show, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah, and make sure you get. I mean, they're listed as 2 separate shows in both Magic Kingdom and in Hollywood Studios. They have a 3D projection for both before the fireworks show. Those are definitely you have to see, because it's just cutting edge technology, and it really makes you feel like these buildings are changing right before your eyes. They do it on the Castle of Magic Kingdom, and they do Grauman's Chinese Theater at Hollywood Studios. The tip with that is you have to be standing. You don't want to be right up on it. You really don't want to be as close as possible to either of those buildings, because you clearly see the facade of the building underneath the 3D projection and lighting that they got going on. So you really, to get the perspective right, you need to be standing a little bit further back. So for Magic Kingdom, be behind the oval, past the oval. Everyone knows, like, where the start of what you can see. Yeah, the hub, where you see the start of the street being a normal street width. That's pretty good spot to view that from. For Grauman's Chinese Theater, it's pretty much those where those 2 trees stand up and divert the traffic. Right there is a good spot. So definitely do that, and don't waste your time on the what's the show at Hollywood Studios after Fantasmic. I mean, it's a Mickey themed.
It's fun if you're a big Disney fan. So we're like Disney Parks fans.
Yeah.
And I love Disney movies, but I'm not huge on like the Fab Five and the original cartoons and stuff. So it's not as much for me personally. But so if you're a big like Disney fan, you love all the original cartoons and the classic Disney, then Fantasmic is good. But if that's not so much your thing, it really is more oriented for kids. So that may be lower on your list of the nighttime shows.
Yeah, absolutely. So my advice would be go see Star Wars. Fireworks right afterwards. There's like a little bit of a gap, and Fantasmic starts. So a lot of people just leave and go straight to Fantasmic to get a seat. And there's like 20-30 minute window where you can still get on a ride. So go to see Slinky Dog, go to Rock and Roller Coaster or whatever,
or hang out and get a really great spot for the next show.
Or do that. So those are great bits of advice. What do you think about the show at Animal Kingdom?
Rivers of Light.
Rivers of Light.
So it's not my favorite. It's very beautiful, but it doesn't have a great storyline in my opinion. So I like the music and I like the technology with they have these water curtains that they project against. And if the weather holds and it's not too windy, those are pretty cool. But I think it's worth seeing, but it's probably not. It's definitely not a show that I would wait in a long queue to see.
Yeah. If you want to use that as your fourth or maybe even fifth fast pass of the day, I would not probably use that for one of your first three.
No.
Because then you're stuck onto it and you can't actually get one-on-one.
Yeah.
So if you want to use it as your fourth, that's fine. I wouldn't. Yeah, it'd be a good idea to do that.
Another trick for the at least with Fantasmic and Rivers of Light, and I think they might have it for the Star Wars one as well, is you can do the dining package. So if you're planning on eating in that park at a sit-down restaurant, you can just get on the Disney website and you'll be able to find whether or not a dining package is offered for that or not. Basically what that is you pay a set price for your dinner, and included within that is reserved seating for the show later on. And it doesn't have to be synced up in time, so you can eat at 5:45 and the show is not till 8, and you can do that. So that can be a way if you just don't want to wait in the queue, but you do want to see one of those shows. I know they do it for Rivers of Light and Fantasmic, and I think they do it for some of the other ones as well.
Yep, absolutely. And we hope you enjoyed this video of must-dos we do. So we like to end each video with a quote from the man himself, Walt Disney. And today's quote is,
"The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing."
And we're going to do exactly that. We're going to quit talking. So this is Brian.
Janet.
And we are
Distinctive.